The funny thing about Hollow Street is that you think you get used to it. You see a man walking his shadow on a leash, or a lamppost that only lights up when you whisper a secret to it. And you just nod and say, "Yep, that's Hollow Street for you." You get complacent. You think you've seen it all. And then one night, the moon goes missing. It was a Tuesday. I remember because it was bin night, and the rhythmic clatter of neighbors dragging their bins to the curb was the only sound breaking the silence. I stepped outside, dragging my own, and happened to glance up. And there was nothing. Just an inky, star-dusted blackness where our big, beautiful moon should have been. It wasn't cloudy. You could see every constellation sharp and clear. The moon was simply gone. My first thought was, I'm tired, I've been working too hard. I'm imagining things. But then Mrs. Gable from number 42 shuffled out. She's a sweet old lady who's lived on Hollow Street longer than the ancient oak tree at the end of the cul-de-sac. She looked up, squinted her eyes, and then looked at me. "Arthur," she said, her voice a little shaky. "Am I going mad, or has someone stolen the moon?" That's when the panic started to bubble up. Doors began to open up and down the street. People were poking their heads out, murmuring to each other. Phones were coming out, dialing, trying to find an explanation. News reports? Nothing. Astronomical societies? All reporting a perfectly normal, full moon visible everywhere else in the world. It was just us. Just Hollow Street plunged into a unique lunar-less darkness. The collective weirdness of it all was almost comforting. We weren't alone in our confusion. We gathered in the middle of the road, a strange neighborhood watch under a star-filled, moonless sky. Someone suggested it was a localized atmospheric phenomenon. Someone else whispered about government experiments. Young Tim from number 16, a tech geek who's always tinkering with gadgets, had the most practical approach. "Let's document it," he said, pulling out his phone. And that's when everything changed. Tim pointed his phone camera at the empty patch of sky. We all crowded around him, craning our necks to see the small screen, and we gasped. On his phone, clear as day, was the moon. It wasn't where it was supposed to be, nestled among the distant stars. It was right there, hanging directly above Hollow Street, massive, terrifyingly close. It filled the entire screen, its craters and seas rendered in hyper-detailed resolution, looking so near you could almost reach out and touch the dusty surface. A frantic scramble followed. Everyone pulled out their phones, and one by one, we all saw the same impossible image. Looking up with our own eyes, we saw an empty void. But looking through the lens of our cameras, we saw a colossal moon, a silent, silver giant looming over our homes. It was a digital ghost, a technological apparition visible only to our devices. It was profoundly unsettling. The world as we saw it and the world our technology saw were two different realities. Which one was real? The empty sky our eyes told us was there, or the monstrous orb our phones insisted was hovering just out of sight? The sight was so intimate, so close. It felt like it was watching us, a great unblinking eye in the digital ether. We spent hours out there pointing our phones at the sky, talking in hushed, nervous tones. The children were the strangest. They weren't scared. They were fascinated. A few of them lay on their backs in the middle of the road, holding their parents' phones above them, just staring at the screen, at the impossible moon. It was like they were at some bizarre outdoor planetarium. Then, the phenomena started to shift. Tim, ever the experimenter, started playing with his camera settings. He zoomed in. The moon on his screen got bigger, and for a terrifying second, we thought it was actually getting closer in reality. But then he tried the filters. A sepia filter made the moon look ancient and cracked. A black and white filter made it look stark and lonely. But the vivid filter, that did something else. When he switched to vivid, the surface of the moon on his screen began to shimmer. Not like a glitch, but organically. Patterns started to emerge from the craters and plains. They looked like streets. Tiny glowing lines like a circuit board or a city map seen from orbit spread across the lunar surface. Our street. We could see the curve of the cul-de-sac, the dogleg turned by the old oak tree. We were looking at a map of Hollow Street, projected onto the face of a moon that only our cameras could see. My heart was pounding. This wasn't just a missing moon. This was a message. This was something about our street, about us. We tried zooming in on the map, but the resolution wasn't good enough. It was a tantalizing, maddening puzzle. A map we couldn't read, on a moon we couldn't see. As the first hints of dawn approached, a new anxiety set in. What would happen when the sun came up? Would the moon ghost vanish? Would it still be there, a daytime phantom on our screens? We didn't have to wait long to find out. As the eastern sky began to blush with pink and orange, the image on our phones began to fade. The giant moon grew transparent, the map of Hollow Street dissolving like sugar in water. Within minutes, it was gone from our screens too. And as the first rays of sunlight touched the rooftops of Hollow Street, we all looked up at the sky one last time. And there it was, pale and translucent in the morning light. Our real, familiar, distant moon was back in its rightful place. It was as if nothing had happened. The birds began to sing. A newspaper delivery van drove down the street. It was just a normal Wednesday morning. But it wasn't. None of us who were there will ever forget the night of the missing moon. We don't talk about it much with outsiders. How could you? So the moon disappeared, but only for us. And we could only see it on our phones, and it was huge and had a map of our street on it. You'd be carted away. But among ourselves, a silent understanding passes. A shared glance when we see someone aim their phone at the night sky just to check. We're more connected now, the residents of Hollow Street. Bound by a shared secret, a shared moment of beautiful, terrifying weirdness. We still don't know what it meant. Was it a warning? A greeting? A glitch in the fabric of our strange little reality? We don't have the answers. But every time I look up at the moon, I feel a little shiver. I remember how close it felt, how it seemed to be looking right back at me through my phone. And I wonder, when we look at the world through our screens, what else are we seeing that isn't really there? Or maybe, what else is there that we can't usually see? Living on Hollow Street means you have to get comfortable with the questions, because you'll rarely ever find the answers. And maybe that's the whole point.